Welcome, and let us take a tour of Soft Client Product Interface. Click the button sheet icon. Navigate to an empty button on the button sheet and right-click an empty button. Select Add Button from the context menu. Under Select Button Type, click the radio button for the line option. Enter the identifier for the line in the Enter Resource AOR field. The identifier must be a Resource Address of Record, or AOR, that has been defined through Unigy administration. You can enter a known extension number. Click Validate to verify that the line identifier is valid. Enter the button label in the Edit Description field. Click the drop-down arrow to select Appearance. Select an appearance number from the list. Click the Advanced Features button to program line preferences. Click the drop-down arrow to select the priority preference. Select the appropriate priority preference. Click the drop-down arrow to select the CLI preference to display or suppress CLI information for the line. Select the appropriate CLI preference. Click the drop-down arrow to specify a ringtone to override the default ringer or no override. Select an appropriate ringtone override. Click the drop-down arrow to specify the ring preference for incoming calls on the line. Select an appropriate ring preference. Click the drop-down arrow to specify the float preference to display calls from this line on a floating button. Select the appropriate float preference. Click the drop-down arrow to specify whether to include calls on this line in call history records. Select the appropriate history preference. Click Save. As a result, the line button is added. Add a Direct Intercom or DICM button to dial an intercom extension with a single button press. Navigate to an empty button on the button sheet and right-click the empty button. Click Add Button from the context menu. Under Select Button Type, click the radio button for the Direct ICM option. Enter the extension number in the ICM extension field. Enter the label for the button in the Edit Description field. Click Save. The DICM button is added successfully. You can click the programmed button to place an intercom call to the programmed extension.
You can add a point of contact, or POC button, on the button sheet to enable you to use a particular method, such as a cell phone or home number, to call a contact. Navigate to an empty button on the button sheet and right-click the empty button. Click Add Button from the context menu. Under Select Button Type, click the radio button for the Point of Contact option. The main window displays the directories application. To add the preferred point of contact, right-click a directory entry. Choose Add Preferred POC to Favorites. Enter the button label in the Edit Description field. Click Save. The point of contact button is added successfully.
Navigate to an empty button on the button sheet and right-click the empty button. Click Add Button from the context menu. Under Select Button Type, click the radio button for the speed dial option. Expand speed dial details. Enter the speed dial number in the number field. Enter a description text for the speed dial. Select an icon for the speed dial. Select an appropriate advanced feature. Click Save. The speed dial button is added successfully. You can click the programmed button to place a call to the programmed number. You can assign functions to buttons on the button sheet. When you press a function button before placing a call or during a call, it performs a special action. Navigate to an empty button on the button sheet and right-click the empty button. Click Add Button from the context menu. Under Select Button Type, click the radio button for the function option. The button sheet displays a list of functions that you can add. Select the function. When you select a function, the function name appears as a default button label. If desired, edit the button label in the Edit Description field. Click Save. The function button is created and the label you entered appears on the button.
Navigate to an empty button on the button sheet and right-click the empty button. Click Add Button from the context menu. Under Select Button Type, click the radio button for the broadcast option. Select the appropriate broadcast type. Click Select Private Wire Lines. The view changes to the button sheet. Page through the button sheet and select up to 5 private lines to be added to the broadcast group. The line buttons are highlighted as you choose them. You can click a selected line again to deselect it. After selecting lines, pause until the button programming dialog redisplays to show the list of private lines you selected. Enter a label for the broadcast in the Edit Description field. Click Save. The broadcast group is saved to the button. You can initiate a call to the group by clicking the button.
Navigate to an empty button on the button sheet and right-click the empty button. Click Add Button from the context menu. Under Select Button Type, click the radio button for the diversion option. Select the appropriate diversion type. Click the drop-down arrow to select the diversion type. Specify the ICM diversion type: no diversion, immediate, busy, ring or no answer, busy or ring or no answer. Enter the intercom extension number to which calls should be diverted. You can select on the implementation type. Save to button. Enable. If you select Save to button, enter a button label in the Edit Description field. Click Save. The diversion button is added successfully. Navigate to the button to be edited on the button sheet and right-click the button. Click Edit button from the context menu. Make changes to settings as needed. Click Save. As a result, the line button is edited. You can copy a button on the button sheet and paste it onto an empty button. Copying a button may be useful when assigning an existing button to your fixed button area, or when creating a copy on any page that makes accessing the button more convenient. Navigate to the button to be copied on the button sheet and right-click the button. Click Copy button from the context menu. Navigate to an empty button. Right-click the empty button. Click Paste button from the context menu. The original button is copied to the new button, but the original is not affected by the copy operation. Both the original and the new button have identical settings. Navigate to the button to be deleted on the button sheet and right-click the button to be deleted. Click the Remove button from the context menu. The button assignment is removed. The button is blank and available for new assignments.